Hi everyone, it's July 28th, it's 2021. My name is Sharon. Now, I don't have a YouTube channel. I don't have a lot of videos out there. I don't have really any video except for one. Um, I don't have a following, um, and I'm not very good at this. But I wanted to do this video because it's been like a burden on me. I've been burdened, I feel, and very concerned. And my concern is that the body of Christ is not as aware of what's coming as they should be. Um, this is not I'm not sharing something that I just got and now I'm grabbing my camera and I'm recording. This is something that first came to me roughly 2013, 2014. And the way I got it then was, we're coming to the end of grace. Since then, the Lord I've received multiple confirmations. What the body of Christ or Christians need to understand is that we are coming to the end of the dispensation of grace. We are coming to the end of unmerited favor. I heard a pastor describe it like this once. He called it common grace. And I thought, I like that because it really does capture what unmerited favor is. And that is what will be ending, is common grace. Now, what does that look like? Jesus referred to it as, it'll be like it was in the days of Noah. What is the main thing when you think about the flood and the days of Noah, or when you think about the days of Noah and the flood? For me, or the most notable fact, apart from there being a flood, is this phrase, and Noah found grace in the eyes of God. I believe that's what we're coming to. And I believe that's what the Lord meant when he said, or at least in part, or at least one of the attributes of the days that we're heading into, when he said, and it will be like the days of Noah. This is what I've seen. Just a couple months ago, May 27th, I was sick, and I went to Walmart. As I'm walking through, I had actually just gotten to Walmart, and for anyone who is familiar with Walmart, when you walk in, and I'm talking the width of the building, not the length, the width. You know, you have the first front section is for the cash registers, and then the customer service and the exits, and then customer service. This half, or the back section, is for the merchandise, where you get your clothes, your groceries, this and that. When I actually came in, I'm sorry, I had to pause, I was interrupted, but when I came into the building, I came in at one end of the store, and I was actually traveling all the way to the other side of the store. I came in at the grocery section, and I was on my way over to the pharmacy section. So as I'm walking down that main aisle that separates where the merchandise begins and where the cash registers begin. I'm walking down the aisle, and I was deep in thought because I had been I had been before the Lord. I had been studying, and the Lord had shown me some things. And so I was really deep in thought as I was walking towards the pharmacy section to get towards the pharmacy section. I was deep in thought, and I remember just kind of looking at the people around me and just thinking about the things that were happening and things that were unfolding, and just being really burdened and kind of concerned, grieved, and a myriad of other things. And I was so deep in thought. So by the time I got towards, I'd say, the middle of the length of that section, I I all of a sudden I went from being so deep in thought to seeing, and what I began to see. You have to bear with me because they're doing work on the lawn, so it's kind of noisy. But what I began to see, or what I saw, was this. When we think of grace, we usually think of God's favor on us, and maybe even God's favor on our nation. But I don't think that we really realize or understand the magnitude of His grace, or the depth, or how God's grace really does affect us. This is what I saw. So as I'm walking, it went from thinking about people and things that were going on, and just the people, and pondering certain things, and all of a sudden I'm looking, and it was as if people were in a tunnel. I say it was as if people were in a tunnel, but it really wasn't. It didn't look like they were in a tunnel or anything like that, but it looked like an enclosure, and it was random people. It was not, I shouldn't say random, it was no one particular, no one specific, no one I've ever seen before. It was just people. They were moving forward, and the feeling was as if they were in a tunnel, but it really wasn't a tunnel. It was more like they were in an enclosure. It was more like they were enclosed about, or encompassed about, by grace. That's why I say it's I don't think we realize the depth or the magnitude of God's grace in our lives, or in our nation, or maybe even the world. I don't know. But as I'm looking, it was as if they were surrounded by matter. It was as if it was like even the air was this matter. And it just, it wasn't, it was like a knowing, something you perceive. And sometimes there are things that you're seeing that are not tangible, and they're spiritual, and you're trying to describe it in a way that kind of gives picture to what you're referring to, or you're trying to explain. It was as if they were everything, not them, but everything around them. They were enclosed, surrounded. They were immersed in grace. And as they moved, these people just moved forward, it was not a long length of time. It was, or not time, but it wasn't a long distance that they traveled. They went forward. It seemed like but a few feet. When they came to a certain point, it was as if what they were enclosed in, this grace, it didn't just stop. It didn't close. It seemed to me to just drop, as if it just dropped off, as if I almost want to say, as if it fell off. And without skipping a beat, there was no space, there was no falter, there was no hesitation. It was immediately as if one beat is grace and the very next beat is not. And what they stepped into was completely different. It was as if their enclosure was no longer filled with this grace, this unmerited favor, but it was, and for a lack of better words, keep in mind, I'm trying to describe to you something that I'm seeing that really is not tangible. Where they were and what they were enclosed in, or what they were walking through now, it was as if the very air, and that's important. That I feel like that's just important to know. It was as if the very air around them was empty. It was void of this energy, this life. I can't explain it, but it was as if it was void of this life, this color, this brightness, this something. I that's the best way I can explain it. It was gone. And what remained, it was gone, and what was left was just, it was darker, it was dimmer, everything seemed darker, it was darker, it was not lively with something, this matter that God has removed it, or taken, or this matter that ended. It was void of something, and what was there was like a darkness. It wasn't as if the lights went off and it was dark. It was just a spiritual darkness. Even the people seemed different, not in their looks, unless you're looking with spiritual eyes, not in their looks. It's not something you would catch just looking at someone, but they were just different. Everything changed. It went from day to, I don't know, I don't want to say day to night, because I don't want it to be taken literal, and that will alter the direction of what I'm trying to describe. But that is where we're going. That is what's coming, and we are, I could be wrong, but I really, in truth, I don't think I am. I think we are literally days away. I think what we are about to enter into, I think what I saw is the setup of the Great Tribulation. I feel almost like there's more I want to say, but I honestly don't know how much camera time I have on this particular phone, so I'm going to kind of keep it short. And I don't want to mesh up, go from one thing to another without really having it worked out in my mind, so that, because a lot of the things that I'm explaining are things that I see. That's how I see it. That's are things that I'm seeing. And they're things in the spirit that I'm seeing. And it's not just in the spirit that I'm seeing it in the spirit, but I'm also seeing it manifested in the natural, on normal basis. I'm not talking particularly about this particular thing that I'm sharing right now. So I try to be very careful in what I say. I'm always careful in what I say when I minister to people. I try to be very careful. So for right now, I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna stop there, and God willing, by the grace of God, should He allow me to share anything further, there are many things that the Lord has shown me. I hope that this helps. God bless.